All right, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy 443 Bobby Lee, man. Y'all can call me 443 Bobby Lee because I don't know. I'm probably gonna take the big rig off my name. I don't know. I still drive truck, but I just ain't really, you know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to the OTR thing. Like that's probably a dead mission. Like yeah, that's probably a done bun. Um, Nevertheless, get right into it. Um, I currently been home for going on going on a month. Matter of fact, I've been home for 5 weeks. I've been home for 5 weeks now. Um, I left Billa. What's today? Today is well at midnight. It'll be the 30th, October 30th, the night before the devil's holiday. Uh, but but yeah. Um, so I I had to get out of there, man. As y'all know from one of my recent videos, and I'm doing this different this time. Actually, I'm live right now. I never really, did one of my videos where though I'm really going into detail about something. I never did it live. I usually just post the video, record it on my phone, and then post the video. I'm trying something different today. But yeah, I had to leave that over the road, lease purchase, all that. I had to leave that alone. Um, Mind you, for any aspiring truck drivers, anybody new to the trucking game, um, if you gonna go over the road, find yourself a good company job, or if your credit score is right, we're gonna getting yourself a truck. You know what I mean, leasing the trucks through like Lone Mountain or something like that. Man, from what I hear, the market to buy a truck right now is actually the time right now. From what I hear, I've heard that Lone Mountain got trucks on there for as low as 2,500 down and a little over $1,000 a month. So yeah, now's the time, man. If you looking to lease a truck, now's the time to really lease through one of these companies that's what they do. They lease out trucks, not through no lease purchase program or nothing like that. That's just not the way to go, man. Do not do that lease purchase stuff, man. All of that, I feel like all of that is a big scam. Uh, they just passed a bill. They just passed a bill about that. Like that lease purchase stuff ain't right. You know what I mean? It ain't right. I don't even want to necessarily say that Biller is not right because anybody that is aspiring to go work for Biller, I just say if that's what you want to do, don't do that unless you somebody that already know the lease purchase game. Like if you already know the lease purchase game and you know how that work, I would say only way I would say somebody should go to Biller is if you know two things. For one, you know about lease purchase. You know how all that work. You know how to pay work. Cause with Biller, they lease purchase program. For one, they don't have no maintenance escrow for you. A lot of people have told me like, when you do lease purchase, a lot of these companies that have a maintenance escrow for you. Um, Biller don't have that. They don't have no maintenance escrow. So if that truck break down, it's on you to make that truck payment. If it's on you to get that maintenance done if you doing a lease purchase program. So yeah, you blow a tire, whatever, whatever the situation is, that's on you. They do have something called this fintech program, where as though they'll pay it for you on the spot, but they gonna tax the hell out of you The interest is crazy. Um, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You better off paying it yourself. But like I said, they don't have no maintenance escrow for you or nothing like that. They will pay it for you, but you're gonna pay them back with interest. I think the interest might be like 15% on whatever the maintenance cost to get done is a 15% interest on that, on top of $50, a $50 fee just for them, having to pay it for you. So you're gonna have that $50 fee. So let's say the maintenance costs $1,000, right? You're gonna have that. You're gonna have that $50 fee. So now automatically you paying them back $1,000, $1,050. Then on top of that, they they want 15% interest. So if your maintenance is $1,000, that 15%, that's 150. So plus that $50 that they want on the top. So if your maintenance is $1,000, you're paying them back at least. It might be more than this for real, but you're paying them back at least 1,200. Now, like I said, it might be more than this for real, honestly, but I think that's what it is. And anything that happened, is building on top of that 1,200. So let's say you go home for a week and you don't make no money that week. Your truck payment is $750. You renting that flatbed from them, that's like $300 and some change. Then they taking out all type of then they taking out money that they never really gonna make sense to you. You know what I'm saying? It's never gonna make sense to you, all the different expenses that they take out. Well, it's never gonna make sense to me. Somebody that do lease purchase or have done lease purchase, um, you may be able to make sense of it. They may not be able to play with you as much as they play with me and they play with certain other people. Like these companies be knowing who they can get over on. If you ain't do your due diligence and educate yourself on the different things that you should have educated yourself on before jumping into that situation, yeah, they gonna play mind games. I mean, that's what they gonna do. But at the end of the day, like I said, I had to get out the lease purchase situation. It just wasn't for me. Um, it wasn't. It didn't make sense for my situation, especially with a company like that. Whereas though it was certain weeks, whereas though they was taking so much in expenses that if I didn't damn near run it legally, I wasn't bringing in no money. So Um, the two things I would say you gotta understand if you go deal with that company biller, you gotta understand how lease purchase work so you can be able to, read your contract, understand your contract, understand your pay statements when you get them every week, understand what it is they taking out. And you don't even have to know lease purchase for that. You just gotta be on top of that, I should say. You get what I'm saying? Me personally, and when you're dealing with lease purchase in general, that is something that you have to be on top of. Me personally, I don't want to have to go through this expense and that's I hate having to look at my pay statement and see the federal taxes and the state taxes and the Medicaid or Medicare, whatever. I hate looking at all that and them taking my money out and me trying to do the math with that money being deducted. No. So with all them expenses they take out when you're doing lease purchase, like I mean, that is one of the reasons why it wasn't for me right now. I wanted to do lease purchase because my goal, is to start my own business in the trucking industry and all that. I already, I I uh I just got my LLC and my EIN and all that for my company, but I don't have my MC number yet, which is the most important part of, you know, the process of trying to get your own authority or your own trucking company, or even if you want to do like some type of logistics company, a dispatch company, which is most likely where I'm going to start at to get my foot in the door. I'll probably start with a dispatch company. But I just realized, you know, you don't have to go over the road to get into the trucking industry. Um, going over the road. Mind you, I was over the road for over a year before I came to this conclusion. And honestly, I would recommend, most companies would recommend that anybody go over the road for at least a year before coming to this conclusion. Before you come to the conclusion that you feel like you want to be a local driver or you want to do this, you want to be a business owner in trucking, whatever it is, like it is recommended to at least go out there for a year. You get what I'm saying? Even if you feel like you don't have to, you got the finances, your people's got an MC number that got some age on it and all that, and you got the whole situation set up. Um, Sometimes it would be in your best benefit to go out there and experience, what these truck drivers got to deal with. Even if you just plan on being a dispatcher, even if you just plan on being a fleet owner or whatever the case may be, and you don't really plan on being out there on that road, if you got your CDL and that's a part of the reason that you getting in this game, it would be in your best interest to go get some experience on that road and basically get a understanding, get a clearer view of what's really going on out there. Because when you're dealing with them truck drivers as a dispatcher, as a fleet owner, whatever route you choose to take, as a broker, um, whatever you choose to do in this game, if you choose to be in this game when you get your CDL, you going to have to deal with them truck drivers, and you want to understand what they talking about, what they going through, how they feel about stuff. If they just talking to you, they gonna sound like Charlie Brown. If they just talking to you and you never experienced it, and you feel me, you gotta really go out there and experience it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't work for some of the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? Billa, uh, one of the other things I tell anybody before they go to Billa is, um, ask around about how companies out of Chicago work. Bill not even based out of Chicago. Bill based out of Florida, but ask around about how them lease purchase companies out of Chicago work. Them companies like Super Ego and stuff like that. Do your homework on them type of companies and see how they be moving, because that's really how Billa move. Like Billa is a company. They run by foreigners. I believe they speak Portuguese or something like that. But they don't give a damn about no DOT, no FMCSA. Like they going to tell you they do. I mean, they going to tell you they do, but they do not care. They do not care. They just care about uh they just care about they stuff getting delivered. You know what I'm saying? Like most companies, and I'm not faulting them for that, but I will tell you, truck drivers, anybody that's thinking about getting into the lease purchase game, anybody that's thinking about going to a company like Biller or going to a company like Super Ego, or one of them companies based out of Chicago, ran by the Russians, or stuff like that. Like, you gotta understand, man, these people are not going to consider you or your CDL. You want to know why? Because there's a million people out here with their CDL. I don't even know the exact number, but it's probably more than a million. Like, it's a lot of truck drivers out here. So, um, you know, they look at us as disposable. A lot of these companies, not all of them, that's when you find a good company that appreciates you, you gotta rock out with them. A company that appreciates you, appreciate your time enough to make sure they paying you right, appreciate your time enough to talk to you right. You ain't gotta argue with dispatch about every everything every other day. But basically, a lot of these dispatchers that be acting like it's their way or the highway, or not even all of them be acting like that. Sometimes you might got dispatchers that's cool, but you ain't making no money. I don't care how cool you is. If I ain't making no money, this situation ain't cool. You feel me? So um, at the end of the day, it always be something different. It always be something different. uh with these companies, but ultimately you gotta protect your CDL. I don't care if no company, wants you to, I don't care if you're a company driver or a lease purchase driver. If any company is putting you in a situation where as though they're expecting you to run illegally in order to, deliver something for them, they don't have your best interest. Any company that, it's more important to them, they blowing your phone up, and you telling them you don't really got no hours, and it's like they still want some, it gotta get there. We need that load there like it's supposed, we need it there now. It gotta be there in the morning. We gotta figure this out. If you tell them you don't have no hours of service on your, 14 hours that you have to be on duty a day, and you telling your dispatcher that you don't got that time, and they still trying to convince you to make something happen, they don't have your best interest. Simple as that. Like that's like one of the first red flags that you will see in a country in a company that don't have your best interest. They will try to pressure you into doing something that you and them both know is wrong. And, you know, that right there is a clear indication that they don't have your best interest. Um, so like I said, man, uh, if you get in the trucking game, my advice and my opinion, especially if you got a family, I would say find a local job, man. Start out with food service. You feel me? Like a lot of people don't like food service or whatever they say is a lot of work, but it ain't that bad, and they make all right money. You can be fresh out of CDL school making 1,500 a week. You know what I'm saying? That ain't bad. You save your money, you work on building your credit and all that, and after a while, you might end up getting your own truck, or you might end up opening your eyes to to what's really going on in this industry, and realizing you ain't even got to get a semi truck. You can get a box truck and still make, you feel me, the same stuff happen. You can make something happen with that box truck. And then once you make something happen with that box truck and you get that MC number rolling with that box truck, then you start working on getting the semi trucks and all that. So there's a whole method to the madness, and I'm still learning. And I had to realize that, you know, it don't matter if you've been in this game for a year. It don't matter if you've been in this game for 5 years. Um, there's always something to learn. And at the end of the day, we in a day and age where you don't just gotta drive, drive, drive. Like that ain't the only way to success. You know what I'm saying? Like own your, own your stuff, man. Own your situation, and that's what I'm working on. You feel me? That's the step that I'm in my career, my process. I want to own my situation, so I took a step back. I came home. You know what I'm saying? I missed my family. I worked too hard, and you feel me? I do too much to not get the feel the benefits of what I'm out here doing. When you go over the road, you don't really, you feel me? You making some money, but you ain't really seeing how what you doing is paying off because you just in that truck. That's all you know. That's all you see. That is, it's damn near start to feel like a jail cell after a while. So at the end of the day, like I said, man, yeah, I came home. I was home for 2 weeks. I was just applying for different jobs. Situation came up, boom, got a job for the post office. Um, sweet, like sweet job for real. Like I basically I go in at like 4 in the morning. I'm really done by like 7 in the morning, but I clock out around like 10. And then on Wednesday, today I did a double for real. That's the only reason I'm even up and making videos and cleaning up and all that, because I got, you feel me? I ain't getting house mode yet. I just got off because on today I do a double from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I've been getting acclimated with this new job. That's why I ain't really been posting videos and stuff like that. But I'm gonna start to give y'all some content about the new job. I'm gonna start to you know, lock back in, man. Lock back in. I was building my YouTube up, and then I kind of lost focus when I started going through what I was going through with that company, and I came home. So yeah, and once I got everything in order now, it's time for me to lock back in. So I'm definitely about to be locked back in. I'm about to be dropping content. You know what I'm saying? So just stay tuned. And yeah, man. Um, I know I probably missed a lot because I really was just clatting. But moral of the story is I ain't messing with that OTR no more, man. Uh, leave some comments, man. Ask me some questions. I'm gonna probably do a part two to this video. I say that all the time, and then I don't never be dropping no part twos, but I probably do a part two. This not even really a video, it's a live. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even really know how all this gonna work. So yeah, I'm about to finish cleaning up and I'm about to settle down. But yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe, share, and as I always say, man, stay in your lane. 100.